Urgent. Venus conjunct Uranus. The lightning strike your heart did not see coming. Something is about to hit you that you did not plan for. Not gradually, not through a slow build of feeling that gives you time to assess and manage and decide whether you are going to allow it. Lightning does not negotiate. It strikes where the charge has been building, and the charge has been building in a very specific part of your life for weeks, whether you noticed it or not. On April 23rd, Venus and Uranus meet at the same degree of Gemini. Venus, the planet that governs what you desire, what you value, what you are willing to reach for, collides with Uranus, the planet of sudden disruption, unexpected reversal, and the specific kind of shock that rearranges your understanding of what is possible in a single moment. This is not a gentle transit. This is not a slow opening of a door. This is the door being blown off its hinges by a force you did not see approaching. And what stands on the other side is something your careful desire management system never accounted for. And it is happening in Gemini, the sign of the mind, of communication, of the connection that begins with a word, a glance, an exchange of information that should be ordinary, but is not. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the messenger. When Venus and Uranus collide in Mercury's sign, the lightning does not strike through action or through the body alone. It strikes through language, through what someone says that you did not expect to hear, through what you say that you did not plan to say, through the specific electric quality of a conversation that begins as one thing and becomes something else entirely before either person has time to construct the managed version of themselves. By the time this video is over, you will understand what this conjunction actually produces, why it is arriving at a moment so precisely loaded that treating it as ordinary would be a mistake, and what each sign of the zodiac needs to be prepared for in the days surrounding April 23rd. Stay here, because lightning does not announce itself. It simply arrives. And what it illuminates in that single flash is something the ordinary light has been hiding. Let me start with what Venus conjunct Uranus actually does. In the astrological tradition, a conjunction is when two planets occupy the same degree of the same sign, a fusion of their energies into a single event. Venus alone governs desire in its familiar form. What you already know you want, what you have been reaching for, the version of attraction that operates within the boundaries you have established for it. Uranus alone governs the shock that breaks those boundaries, the sudden insight that arrives from outside the system you have been running, the event that could not have been predicted from within the logic of the previous arrangement. When these two forces occupy the same degree at the same moment, what you desire and what you did not know you could desire collide. The result is not simply a new attraction. It is a rearrangement of the category of what is desirable. Something that was outside the frame of your wanting suddenly appears inside it. Not because it changed, but because the frame just expanded in a direction you did not anticipate. This is why Venus-Uranus conjunctions are associated with sudden attractions, unexpected encounters, and the specific quality of falling for something or someone that does not match the profile your conscious mind had been recruiting for. The conscious mind recruits within the existing frame. Uranus expands the frame without asking, and what enters through the expanded frame has the specific electric quality of something that feels both completely new and strangely inevitable, as though it was always supposed to arrive, but could not have been predicted from within the logic that preceded it. Now, this conjunction is happening in Gemini, and Gemini changes everything about how the lightning strikes. In an earth sign, Venus-Uranus would strike through physical encounter. In a water sign, through emotional depth. In a fire sign, through passion and creative explosion. In Gemini, an air sign, the sign of the mind and communication, the lightning strikes through words. The conversation you did not expect to have. the message that arrives and rearranges what you thought you knew about what you want. The moment in an ordinary exchange when someone says something that bypasses every defense you have constructed around your desire and reaches the part of you that has been waiting to hear exactly that. Gemini is the sign of duality, the twins. Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini has a specific quality of showing you the other side of something you thought had only one side. The relationship you categorized as one thing that suddenly reveals it is also something else. The person you had placed in one category who suddenly, through a single exchange, occupies a completely different category. The version of yourself that emerges in a specific conversation that you did not know existed until the words left your mouth. This conjunction does not just change what you want, it changes what you know about what you want. And it does this through the specific Gemini mechanism, information. A piece of information arrives, spoken, written, exchanged, and the information itself is the lightning. Not what happens after, the information. Here is where this lands for each sign of the zodiac. If you are Gemini or Gemini rising, the lightning strikes your first house, identity itself. Venus conjunct Uranus in your sign is the most direct hit of the entire zodiac. What changes is not what you want from someone else. What changes is what you discover about yourself through a sudden encounter. A version of your own desire that you did not know you carried surfaces without warning. If you are Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising, the conjunction hits your 7th house, partnerships. The lightning strikes the other person. Someone you thought you knew says something that rearranges how you understand the relationship. Or someone entirely new enters through a conversation that was supposed to be ordinary and was not. If you are Virgo or Virgo rising, the conjunction activates your 10th house, career and public life. The lightning is professional. An unexpected opportunity, a sudden shift in how you are perceived publicly, a conversation with someone in a position of authority that opens a door you did not know existed. If you are Pisces or Pisces rising, the conjunction hits your 4th house, home and roots. The lightning strikes the foundation. Something about where you live, what you call home, or a family dynamic shifts suddenly through an exchange of words that changes the architecture of what felt settled. If you are Aries or Aries rising, the conjunction lights your 3rd house, communication and daily exchange. The lightning is in the conversation itself. An idea sparks that was not there a moment ago. A sibling or neighbor says something that changes a direction. The mind receives something it was not prepared for. If you are Taurus or Taurus rising, the conjunction activates your 2nd house, values and resources. The lightning strikes what you are worth. A sudden reassessment of value, yours or something you hold, arrives through information you did not expect to receive. If you are Cancer or Cancer rising, the conjunction hits your 12th house, the hidden interior, dreams, the spiritual layer. The lightning strikes from the unconscious, a dream, a sudden intuition, a piece of information that arrives from a source you cannot trace, but that rearranges what you desire at the deepest layer. If you are Leo or Leo rising, the conjunction activates your 11th house, community, networks, the future. The lightning is social. A connection forms within a group that redirects the trajectory of what you are building toward. If you are Libra or Libra rising, the conjunction lights your 9th house, higher learning, travel, meaning. The lightning is philosophical. An encounter with a teacher, a book, a foreign perspective that changes what you want by changing what you understand. If you are Scorpio or Scorpio rising, the conjunction hits your 8th house, shared resources, deep bonds, transformation. The lightning strikes the most intimate exchange. What surfaces is something about power, desire, and the cost of vulnerability that neither person planned to reveal. If you are Capricorn or Capricorn rising, The conjunction activates your sixth house, daily work, health, routine. The lightning strikes the ordinary. Something in the daily structure shifts suddenly. A health awareness, a work dynamic, a routine that breaks open and reveals what has been hidden beneath the habit. If you are Aquarius or Aquarius rising, the conjunction lights your fifth house, creative expression, romance, joy. The lightning is the most classically romantic hit of the zodiac, an unexpected attraction, a creative idea that arrives fully formed. The specific quality of falling for something or someone with the sudden certainty that Uranus specializes in. Here is what you need to understand about the days surrounding April 23rd. Venus-Uranus conjunctions do not produce predictable outcomes. They produce openings. The lightning strikes, and what it reveals is not a conclusion. It is an expanded frame. What you do with the expanded frame is yours to decide. But the expansion itself is not optional. What enters your awareness through this conjunction? The desire you did not plan for, the attraction that bypasses the management system, the information that rearranges what you thought you knew about what you want. That is the conjunction's gift. Not a comfortable gift, a genuine one. The practice for this transit is counterintuitive. Do not grip. The instinct when lightning strikes the desire territory is to immediately categorize, assess, decide. Is this real? Is this practical? Does this fit the existing arrangement? Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini asks you to let the information land before you begin the assessment. Let the expanded frame exist for a few days before you try to fill it with the old categories. Let what arrived arrive fully before you decide what it means. Because the meaning that emerges after 3 days of sitting with the lightning is never the meaning your first reaction assessment would have produced. The first reaction manages, the settled response discovers. And what Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini is offering is a discovery about your own desire that your management system has been blocking. Not because the desire was dangerous, but because it did not fit the frame. The frame just changed. Let it show you what fits now. Write in the comments what lightning has already been building in your awareness this week. The desire, the attraction, the piece of information that arrived without warning and has not yet been fully processed. The person who comes after you needs to read it. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because as Uranus begins its 7-year transit through Gemini, the lightning that strikes on April 23rd is not a single event. It is the first flash of a much longer storm that will reshape how you think, communicate, and connect for years to come. The universe has spoken. What comes next is in your hands. There is one more layer to this conjunction that connects it to the larger sequence this year has been building. Because Venus conjunct Uranus in Gemini does not arrive in isolation. It arrives on April 23rd, 2 days before Uranus officially enters Gemini for its 7-year transit, which means this Venus-Uranus conjunction is not simply a one-day event. It is the opening chord of a 7-year revolution in how you communicate, think, and connect. Uranus in Gemini from 2026 to 2033 will transform the information landscape. Education, social media, the specific ways human beings share and receive ideas. The last time Uranus was in Gemini was 1942 to 1949, a period that restructured global communication systems from the ground up. And Venus meeting Uranus at the exact moment of this ingress means the 7-year revolution begins with a personal lightning strike in the territory of desire and value. What you discover about what you want on April 23rd is not a passing impulse. It is the first signal of a 7-year reconfiguration of how desire operates when the information landscape changes beneath it. The things you will want in 2033 will not be the things you want now, and the first evidence of that shift arrives in the days surrounding this conjunction. The air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, will feel this most acutely. The mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, will feel the disruption most directly. But every sign will register the specific quality of this moment, the frame of desire expanding in a direction the mind did not predict. And the expansion is permanent. Uranus does not contract back to its previous dimensions. What opens on April 23rd stays open. The lightning leaves a mark. And the mark is the beginning of 7 years of discovering what you want when the old information architecture no longer determines the boundaries of what is available. Let the lightning land. Let the mark be visible. Let the 7-year revolution begin with one genuine moment of unplanned, unmanaged, unfiltered recognition of what just entered the frame. That is what April 23rd is. Not a transit to survive, a lightning strike to receive. The first flash of 7 years of Uranus in Gemini arriving through the most personal possible channel. What you desire, what you value, what your heart recognizes before your mind has time to manage the recognition. The lightning has been building. The charge is specific, and the strike lands in the next 48 hours.